Dixie play. Yeah, we'll draw lands. It'll be fine. Has it ever been not fine at any point in time? Definitely draw lands eventually. Mono red? Oh, goblins. Okay, it's been a while. I would like to boop the snoop. Oh, because prospect. I should have moved into turn. I'm lucky I didn't get punished for that. It's been a while since I played against goblins. I forgot that Snoop gains the ability of the creature that's on top. So I'm never gaining 3 life in that spot, but I gave them an opportunity to pay something with the 1 life that they shouldn't have had the option to do. More Snoops. No! Hey Chris, enjoying your content here. I'll be alternating your streams with Master Duel. I don't know. I started streaming Master Duel mostly because I was kind of amused at the idea of me not having any clue what I'm doing. I don't really have any firm plans on whether I'm intending to play that in the long run or not, because, I mean, I still don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm definitely not going to be spending very much time on the weekend streaming other games when it comes time to actually start testing for an upcoming Magic tournament. But at least for the near future, I think I'd let this happen. At least for the near future, I'm probably intending to stream it on the weekends. No! We failed drawing a lance for Wrath of God. Okay, well. New plan. Memory Deluge to white source. Opponent hits a land on the top. That's good. Chieftain. That's less good. So I could Helix that, or I could Wrath of God it. I think I'm willing to take a little bit of extra damage to Wrath of God it. And, you know, hope that we hit the white source. We really got to hit the white source. We hit the white source, and find Lightning Helix. Sweet. Okay, pay some life. Wrath of God. It is 1 turn before the opponent can play Muxus. That's good. Goblin Matron. That finds Muxus. That's less good. Oh, Wily Goblin. Okay, so they had Muxus in hand and needed a 6th land, is the way I read that. Okay, now we have a tough turn. I can either pass with 2 Lightning Helixes up, so that I have a higher chance of hitting haste creatures when the opponent plays Muxus, or I can play Aether and Uptick, which has the chance to draw me into a counterspell, in which case I kind of just win. But if it doesn't, then I'm only holding up 1 Lightning Helix, and it's a lot easier for the opponent to hit 2 haste creatures with Muxus and kill me. Choices, choices, choices. I don't think I'm supposed to play the Teferi here. I don't think I take that risk. Darby to Muxus. Opponent hits 1 hasty creature. But also another Muxus. That's annoying. Okay, well, unfortunately, I actually am in a lot of trouble now because I didn't play the hero. This was one of the few situations that kind of punished me for this, because I'm actually constrained on my white sources here and I can't hold up a Lightning Helix after this Day of Judgment. Or I could just top deck Archmage's Charm and it doesn't matter. Which also means upticking hero would have hit Archmage's Charm, so I guess upticking hero last turn was like 1,000,000,000% better, but I'm probably still going to win anyway. I guess I could complain, but I don't think I'm going to. I could definitely still lose, though. Definitely still entirely possible to lose from here. Another Muxus is a good way to do it. Third Muxus is strong. Well, I'm out of board wipes. And down-ticking on the Muxus is not exciting. And yet, here we are. Get rid of Snoop. I mean, I guess I don't need to down-tick on the Muxus. It gets kind of big, but I can block with Hall. Down-ticking, like, makes them redraw it, which isn't exciting. I guess in which case, I actually shouldn't have played the Portable Hole before upticking Teferi if that was going to be the decision that I made. Okay. Am I supposed to Memory Deluge here? I get to have 2 mana up if I Memory Deluge, as opposed to... No, I need to hold up Hall. Absolutely can't Memory Deluge here. Is Gobos a meme or is it actually good? It's a totally reasonable deck. It was very bad for a time. Wow, they didn't attack with Muxus. They do know. Oh no, Hall's a 7/7. Never mind. It was extremely bad when Memory Deluge, or no, when, why can't I remember the name of the card? When Memory Lapse was in the format. But it's better now that Control isn't the tippity-top deck. Alright, so I'm probably down-ticking on Krenko. Do I even want a Portable Hole? I kind of feel like I probably get Narset Triome here. Oh, I can't even play Narset, can I? But I probably want to make this land drop. So I think we get the Triome. Expressive Iteration is tempting, but doesn't really work. Krenko goes away. We play the Triome, pass the turn, continue to hold up Hall of the Storm Giants. Whee! Alright, well that got a little risky, and I don't think that I made 1,000,000% the correct decisions, but who cares? Just top deck out of it. Yay! Okay, Anger of the Gods is important, Teferi is bad, Narset's not as good as you'd like in this matchup because tapping out at sorcery speed is hard. Portable Hole is probably still good because it's tempo positive while still holding up counterspells, which is important against goblins. The tricky thing about goblins is trying to figure out the right way to turn the corner while still holding up answers to Muxus. Instant speed threats are important in that sense, because otherwise you can just lose to card advantage pretty easily. Which makes Shark Typhoon kind of valuable. Lower big Teferi to 2? Oh, definitely not. I think Teferi is extremely important against goblins. It's the best thing you can do in Jeskai. Having the ability to produce card advantage in a way that doesn't actually tap you out of Aether Gust is absolutely critical. If they have Artifact, we're kind of in trouble? Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's tough to beat the Artifact. Shark Typhoon can be important against them because it is something to do on their end of turn that actually insulates your Planeswalkers, but I agree it's probably the weakest of the cards we got here. What do I think of Dispute? I think having some number of disputes is important, especially if you're going to be playing in an open deck list environment, which isn't too many environments right now for Historic, or at least isn't the relevant environment for this weekend. But it's a big deal against the Lotus Field decks that try to play Stifle on Lotus Field early to get a big advantage against other control decks. And it's very difficult to interact with that outside of having Dispute. Little Teferi can instant speed a board wipe. It's true, but the problem isn't having Teferi in play and how good is it when you have it in play. It's how do you get it in play without immediately dying. Because it's very difficult to play a 4-drop and not be instantly dead to a Muxus. I meant to speed in this matchup, post board to counter Muxus. I think that I have actually left that in some decks. I don't think that it's intrinsically awful, but I don't think this deck needs to do that. Oh, this is actually, like, really annoyingly hard. Because my deck needs double white and double red, but the island is the only thing that makes all of the other check lands come into play untapped. I think I'm supposed to get rid of the island, though. And then play Glacial Fortress on turn 1. Probably. Yeah. And then we're probably playing Sulfur Falls on turn 2. Rolling Vortex. That's annoying. But we do have Aether Gusts. Oh, we also have Anger of the Gods. Huh. Alright, new plan. No portable hole. I mean, I could just portable hole here. Though. And then save the Anger? So that I actually have an answer to a Krenko? I'm probably supposed to have an answer to a Krenko. Oh! Right, this hits Vortex, huh? Oh yeah, that's 1,000,000,000% the correct thing to do. Good call, chat. Good call. Cards are very strong when you remember they do things you put them in the deck to do. Ooh. Also, we got more board wipes. Radical. Wily Goblin. Okay. Ooh, commit to memory. Neat. We can force the opponent to top deck something bad. Probably a Wily Goblin. Goblin Matron. Would not like my opponent to tutor. Oh, hey, cool. We drew a Teferi. Alright, well, we're going to hope the opponent doesn't have a Muxus in hand and top deck a land, or the reverse. Alternatively, we could just draw Aether Gust, because I don't know. I'm lucky at Magic or something. Am I going to have to Aether Gust that no matter what? I don't want to. But it's going to enter the battlefield, they're going to activate it, and then my Teferi takes 2. Because I have to Aether Gust it so that my Teferi doesn't die? Yeah, I don't love that, but we kind of have to. So I might as well not let it into the battlefield and do 1 additional point of damage to Teferi is my logic. Alright, and I am willing to hold the Goblin so that the Teferi doesn't die. I think I'm supposed to save Anger of the Gods over Portable Hole. There's a Goblin. Goblin Punchy Teferi. I guess if I'm in a situation where I'm going to have to answer the Battlecry Goblin anyway, then then I should have played the Anger to answer the Wily Goblin, so that on this turn, where I might have more uses for my mana, I would have the more mana efficient removal spell for Battlecry Goblin. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. Ooh, all the Storm Giants feels cool. Do I want to Anger Battlecry Goblin when my opponent's about to play Goblin Matron? Yeah. No, because I forgot that I had Hall of Storm Giants coming up off Teferi, so I was not supposed to use Anger yet. Opponent gets a Muxus. Wow, I'm surprised. So incredibly surprised. Okay. Raugrin Triome to hand. Expressive Iteration to be cast. Looking for counter spells. Aether Gust is fine. I think we're going to play the Hallowed Fountain this turn, so we actually have land types going. There's cards that do things. Those are my favorite. Alright. Never didn't have them. Krenko? Oh, right, because Muxus costs 6 mana. Good point. Alright, here's the plan. We're countering the Krenko because when the opponent eventually top decks a land, they're going to have to use their treasure to cast Muxus, and then we get to Aether Gust the Muxus when they're short on one land. Whereas the Krenko they never have to sacrifice a treasure for, so they just put it back on top and redraw it immediately. Cycle Triome. Get Teferi. Sure. Uptick Teferi. Get an Archmage's Charm. That sounds cool too. Admittedly, this commit to memory is a little weaker when we took every Narset out of the deck. Muxus. Anyway. We'll put that back on top. Teferi gets punched. How sad. More counter spells. Cool. Oh, they didn't put it back on top. Oh no. Poor opponent. Shark Typhoon. Alright. We'll hard cast that for content. Pass the turn. Teferi get punch. Wrath of God. I could. Should I? Probably not, but I guess it would be nice to start upticking a Teferi at some point. Oh, wait. Can I have the... Do I have the mana to haul the Storm Giants plus Archmage's Charm? I do. Cool. Alright. No need to Wrath of God, then. We have a 7-mana answer to Goblin Matron. Muxus? Wow. How completely unexpected. Okay. Go to our turn. Uptick to Teferi. I really hope the opponent topped it, or just plays another Muxus from hand. I am super into the idea of getting to Jwari Disruption a Muxus. Alright, opponent. You can't really attack at Teferi with the Matron on account of being dead if you do. No! They had the land! Anyway. So we downtick on Matron and then win. Yay! By the way, Chris, your manland can attack too. I figured we would get there eventually, but we needed to have blocking duty for the time being. I feel like Hardcast Shark Typhoon is, you know, one of the best follow-ups to an unanswered Teferi that's already won the game. So we need to draw lands for this to do anything. So I guess the plan is that we're going to keep and then draw lands. Now Johnny's welcome. I don't have interaction for that. I hate that you always draw lands and I never do. I put myself in a position where I give myself the opportunity to draw lands. But that might not be a good thing. Scurry Oak. Oh no! I mean, that's legitimately a problem. I'd like to draw an untapped red source, though, so I can anger the gods. Or we could lose. Sometimes this happens, too. Heliod? Oh no! Well, I'm pretty close to dead. But we can also just top deck a red source and then kill the board. That works too. The 6-lander Memory Deluge from earlier leads me to conclude that you draw a lot of lands. I put a lot of lands in my deck, to be fair. Ranger Captain. Alright. Presumably that gets a lot of 1-drops. That's gonna be a lot of power. Oh, it only gets 1 1-drop? Oh, okay. Heliod on the board. Oh my. That does like attacking and things. Expressive Iteration is not a land. That's not ideal. Okay. Opponent has a Castle Ardenvale, which is going to be a problem here. Scurry Oak. Yeah, that's pretty good. Mostly that's pretty good because it beats me because I got a Ranger of Eos. Even if I top deck an Anger of the Gods, I still die? I mean, I can avoid dying this turn by stealing Lunarch Veteran, but... I still can't deal with the Infinity Power and Toughness problem. Oh well. We tried. Have to counter that or go infinite? Yeah, but also can't counter it because we die. Alas. Alright. Problem with Aether Gust against this matchup is that they occasionally just aggro you out with white creatures. That's kind of annoying. Do I, like, not actually get to board anything? Well, I definitely board out Time Raveler, and I probably board in Anger of the Gods. Which cards do that? Okay, so the combo they have assembled is that whenever a 1/1 counter gets put on Scurry Oak, they make a creature. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, they gain life. And with Heliod, whenever they gain life, they get to put a +1/+1 counter on something, which will be Scurry Oak, which makes more creatures, which makes more life, which makes more counters, which makes more, you know. So it makes infinity, summoning 6 squirrels, gains infinity life, and makes 1 creature of infinity power and toughness. Which, I could theoretically deal with most of that, but I don't have enough mana to cast a Wrath of God. They've got a Ranger Captain that stops me from Wrath of Godding, and I'm dead on board. So, like, I could avoid dying, and then steal the Lunarch Veteran, and then Wrath of God if I had the land to do that, and the Ranger Captain was gone. But, you know, the part where none of that was possible was the part that made that hard. I think I'm supposed to cut Narset for an Aether Gust. I kind of want to play one more Aether Gust, but I don't know what to cut to do it. I suppose it's probably supposed to be Shark Typhoon, but Shark Typhoon actually is kind of useful against the generic aggro beatdown plan. I guess I'm only playing one Aether Gust then. That feels kind of weird. But they have so many things that Aether Gust doesn't do anything against. Alright, well, we have the one Aether Gust, so that's cool. Yeah, most of their threats being white makes it hard to find great targets for Aether Gust. It's tricky. Collected Company, you don't mind Aether Gusting, but it's not the most exciting thing in the world either. Voice the Blessed, sure. This is a pretty clean Anger of the Gods turn. Yeah, the blue-black deck against them was just absolutely stellar. Mostly because they, like, literally couldn't beat a Karavik in play. But alas, Lear is banned. Basically. 4 mana, Soul Warden. Okay. Scurry Oak. No. Am I okay with that? I guess I have to answer something, or else they go infinite. I could just steal the Soul Warden, but I probably want a portable hole of Soul Warden. I'm probably supposed to Aether Gust the Scurry Oak, make them redraw it. And then I don't know whether I Lightning Helix the Soul Warden, or leave Lightning Helix up and just portable hole? I probably just portable hole. I think that's right. I could kill Oak in response to the trigger. Yeah. I don't know if I want to, though. Maybe it was... I feel like Aether Gust has less use than Lightning Helix, but maybe that's wrong. That could be false. Do I want a Lightning Helix Scurry Oak here, or cycle Shark Typhoon? Probably would prefer to Lightning Helix, I guess. Okay, Expressive Iteration rewarded that decision. We had to put a Jwari Disruption in hand, which is probably never going to be useful, but... yeah. Bigger Shark for faster clock, they can go infinite. Yeah, kind of. Alright. Am I playing Jwari Disruption as a land here? I'm unlikely to ever get a use out of it as a counter spell at this point. Scurry Oak, sure. Would prefer to save Archmage's Charm for possible collected companies. Make Big Shark. Untap Lightning Helix the Scurry Oak. Probably cycling that Triome. Probably playing this Aether. Kind of hoping we draw untap land. I could downtick on one of the permanents in play, but I'd rather just draw cards. Sweet. So now we have Lightning Helix and Archmage's Charm. I'm gonna Lightning Helix the Scurry Oak anyway, so might as well get this damage in. Set a stop after we untap with the Aether. Lightning Helix the Scurry Oak. Hard for the opponent to do anything terribly meaningful here. They steal or they resolve a Selfless Savior, sure. We've already used all of our removal spells anyway. Don't cycle Triome because there's the threat of company. Cycle Triome. I think we just focus on upticking Aether to win the game here. I'm in a spot where I potentially am in trouble if they have, like, company and to draw company. Okay, no company is a good sign. Johnny's welcome, sure. That does create some inconvenience for a Scurry Oak down the line. Uptick to Aether. Narset is cool. I like drawing cards since we were flooding out a little bit. Huh. Alright, probably Expressive Iteration. I would like to have a little bit of safety behind more counterspells than this. Cool. More counterspells isn't radical. Yeah, we're just gonna take commit then. And I don't know, exile like a Memory Deluge forever. Why not? Have a middle land drop yet? No. Sweet. So I get to have up commit and Archmage's Charm. Wicketeer. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Alright, should win the game now. Admittedly, when I said now, I meant like shortly after that point, but that works for me. So yeah, still kind of feel vindicated about the idea of not playing more Aether Gusts than one. We didn't see a ton of targets for it there. Even if they combo main phase anger and the -3 on Scurry Oak solves it, yeah. Although they gain a bunch of life, but that probably doesn't matter because I have the Teferi infinite mill combo with an emblem. Which, if you've never seen that before, Teferi has the super cool ability to -3 targeting itself. So if you have a Teferi emblem and remove every permanent your opponent has in play, including their lands, so they can't play anything, it doesn't matter how much life your opponent has, you can just spend every turn playing Teferi, down-ticking Teferi on itself to put it back in the library, drawing Teferi, exiling the land your opponent just played, and, you know, do that for 60 turns until your opponent decks by draw steps. They actually don't gain infinite life. We can deal 150 damage pretty easily. Yeah, like in paper they would be able to say that they gain infinite life. Online they can't physically do that, but this deck doesn't care, specifically because of that Teferi interaction. Well, once again, that's an Aether Gust. I'm still incentivized to keep it because I don't want a mulligan. Opponent plays a 1-drop. I have no answer to their 1-drop. This time around, they don't play the super hard to deal with 2-drop that I only barely had an answer to last time, so that's radical. Alright, still no board wipes, and Selfless Savior is annoying. That's going to be a problem. Scurry Oak is gustable. Oh, that's cool. They don't keep the Scurry Oak. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. It might mean they have a company in hand and are looking for a land. Archmage's Charm is a really nice draw. Happy about that. Trelasara, huh? Interesting. I could steal the Soul Warden in response to that. Slow down how much damage my opponent can do to me. But it does get out of control kind of fast. No, I should probably counter that. I think it was probably incorrect of the opponent to have done that pre-combat, though. So we have an Anger, but they have a Selfless Savior. I'm probably supposed to look for a Lightning Helix to answer this Selfless Savior. And we get the Lightning Helix and the land off Expressive Iteration to cast it, so you know. Everything's wonderful, and never at any point is not wonderful. Not wonderful? Yeah, I think that checks. Let's see. Do I want a Lightning Helix here? I think so. So I'm not going to gain 3 life because they're going to sack the Selfless Savior, but by doing it now, I do gain 1 life. Oh, Collected Company. Okay. Voice of the Blessed and a Soul Warden, so it gains 2 counters. Wait, 3 counter? Why? Oh, because 1 Soul Warden sees 2. Right. Okay, that's annoying. So unfortunately, I think that means I have to play the Teferi and downtick on the Voice of the Blessed. Which means my Teferi dies, but sets me up with potentially having an Anger Narset turn that's not too bad. More Cocos! Actually, that's a pretty big problem. Oh, okay, and I don't actually have a second white source. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I don't think I can beat that. So I'm gonna have to find a Wrath and a white source. Do I have to Expressive Iteration here? Probably. Alright. How am I supposed to do this? The portable hole is nice. But if I portable hole either of these two and don't anger, it's pretty hard. But I kind of need the second white source. That Raugrin Triome not being an untapped white land is kind of painful. I could anger to get rid of the Soul Wardens. I'm taking a lot of damage if I do that. I could ignore the Raugrin Triome, portable hole, the Voice of the Blessed, and play Narset, or play Anger. I think it's supposed to be the portable hole. This gives them a tiny chance of killing me here, possibly. Well, not really. It'd be pretty hard for them to kill me from here. Ooh, not choosing to give it lifelink to scry? Really, opponent? Oh, okay. Alright, well I can anger the gods here, which makes me not dead on board. I think I Narset on the off chance I hit a portable hole or a Wrath. Opponent's priority is probably just Heliod's ability. We hit a portable hole. Okay. Well, that's not bad. I think I still anger so that they can't deny me cards with Narset. Also because Heliod can pump the creatures that are on board if they top deck something, like the Castle Ardenvale that's on board. So yeah, 1,000,000% correct anger. Scurry Oak, okay. Hanging in there. Hey Chris, just joined in for the night. What do you think about Heliod combo for the MIQ? I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's personally the style of deck I would play, but I think that it's probably reasonable. Let's see. I should probably Memory Deluge first before Anger. Is that true? What could I hit that makes that relevant? Lightning Helix plus 2-drop? Not really. Opponent's not really in a position where they play around anything. I guess Collected Company is something they might play around if I'm representing mana with Memory Deluge. I think I take Aether and Raugrin Triome to cycle. And then we do Anger. Alright. Trelisara, sure. Current plan is to Teferi downtick on that. Correction, current plan. Am I better off downticking to Teferi on Heliod? I don't believe so. I believe it's better to just answer the creatures on the board and ignore the Heliod. Okay, successful. Cycle. I don't think I care about giving my opponent an opening to Collected Company there, or at least I don't think that I have reasonable ways to play around it. Is it better to Memory Deluge than to Narset? Probably better to Memory Deluge. Opponent chooses not to activate anything here. We get Archmage's Charm. Is it better to have a Lightning Helix than an Archmage's Charm? Probably not. I'm probably supposed to pay life here because I'm incentivized to Lightning Helix the Castle Ardenvale token so that I get closer to the point where I can Teferi downtick on Heliod sooner. And I don't think I'm terribly likely to take any damage for the rest of this game. I suppose I could have Archmage's Charm to steal the 1/1, but yeah. I don't think the opponent should have played the Voice of the Blessed there. Well, maybe. I guess if I don't have any answers to it, then it's better than activating Castle Ardenvale, but I feel like they're supposed to try to play 2 threats a turn. So they're supposed to save a threat until they can activate Castle Ardenvale and play the threat in the same turn. Oh, hey, Shark Typhoon seems fun. Probably incorrect to play, but it does seem fun. Well, the Storm Giants, sure. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's actually meaningfully possible that I lose this game after hardcasting the Shark Typhoon, and the drawing a card plays around that better. So, regrettably, I don't think we're capable of taking that line at the moment. We'll play the Narset, though. Activate the Narset. Ooh. That's a lot of good cards. Alright, we'll take Lightning Helix. Yeah. I was going to say, I'm not even sure I kill this Voice of the Blessed. I think I might let it attack so that I can set up a turn where I get value out of Double Anger. I guess I didn't really need value, though, did I? The biggest difference, I think, or the matchup that had the single biggest difference between Gear Hulk and non-Gear Hulk versions, or more honestly, Magmopus versus non-Magmopus versions, were the various Trail of Crumbs matchups, where Magmopus made a big difference in how likely Jeskai was to win those matchups. But I think Portable Hole, having become kind of normalized as a removal spell, has changed that a bit. It is now... You are now just like less of a total dog to Trail of Crumbs, since you actually have playable answers to it. What's the green-black food matchup like? I have a feeling it's by far the best deck in the format, but doesn't have a crazy win rate because it's super hard to play. I haven't played it a ton, but Portable Hole and Aether Gust helps a lot. I think that the matchup against the green-black version tends to be slightly better than the matchup against the Jund version, in my experience. But most of my experience playing Control against green-black, against green-black, has been while playing a blue-black deck. So that matchup tended to feel hard and oriented around Trail of Crumbs. I have not personally got a feeling for how much Portable Hole changes that. Alright, a opponent. How are you doing here? It is not the greatest turn 2 I've ever seen. Voltaic Brawler. Okay. Is Trail even an issue with the Luris version? They only have 9 threats, the other 51 cards literally don't matter. They can still out card draw you, which was an issue with the Luris, or with the Lear decks. I think I'm supposed to Lightning Helix Burning Tree and then Portable Hold Voltaic Brawler. Just to maximize the amount of life I'm gaining here. Why does it matter if they draw cards? Because most of their other cards do actually interact, or at least interacted with green-black in a meaningful way. They tended to be able to drain you to death. Yeah. I don't know if I'm happy or sad that my opponent just put an Embercleave on a Llanowar Elf. Is that good or bad for me? Yeah, one of the ways green-black beat you is they don't need to have a game-winning threat. They just need to run you out of answers, and they can play a lot of bad creatures that you don't have enough answers for. Am I supposed to commit the Embercleave? Or the Llanowar Elf it's equipped to? I guess I'm probably supposed to equip the Embercleave, or commit the Embercleave? Hopefully the opponent doesn't Coco here. If they're going to Coco, I'd rather they do it on the end of my turn. Do they have another Embercleave? Is that what's going on? I'd be real sad if that happened. Okay, so opponent decided to wait on the Coco, which hopefully I can still punish. I do get to punish it, haha, and all the associated laughter involved in that. They could also just be looking at Ramunap Ruins. It's possible they have nothing. It's definitely possible. I would prefer them to have nothing. Does seem like that's probably the case. They're incentivized to play out lands. I guess I'm probably supposed to Jwari Disruption the Bone Crusher so I don't have to use the Archmage's Charm. Even if it costs me 2 extra life, which is actually a cost with Llanowar Elves and the Ramunap Ruins in play. So, you know, maybe that was wrong. Lightning Helix is cool, though. Am I supposed to Archmage's Charm to steal the Llanowar Elf they put an Embercleave on? Or am I just supposed to counter the Embercleave? Huh. Is Green-Black just better than Jund now? It's hard to say. They have a different suite of good matchups, so it's kind of contextual about what other decks are popular in the metagame. Green-Black was much better against Mono-White and Phoenix, which were the popular decks at the last major tournament, hence it being a much better choice for that tournament. But I think Jund is a lot better against Control. Depends on the type of Control, but just generally overall, I think it's better against most types of Control. I'm probably supposed to counter the Embercleave, I think. Or I could let the Embercleave resolve, take 5, go to... No. Can't really take that much damage, I don't think. Ooh, Teferi's fun. I am in a lot of trouble if my opponent plays a Gruul Spellbreaker, though. I guess not that much. I still have the Lightning Helix. I can't kill the Spellbreaker, but I can kill a Llanowar Elf so my Teferi doesn't die, and then Anger of the Gods cleans it up. Alright. Collected Company into like 2 Spellbreakers. That was what was brutal and hard to answer. How many creatures do we got? 1, 2. Rude. Guess I could downtick Teferi on it. Jund is an easier time dealing with Teferi, which is the most important problem for Lurrus food. Yeah, so like I said, most of my experience playing against Green-Black and Jund while playing Control was playing Blue-Black. It doesn't have access to like super powerful, repeatable card draw engines like Teferi, which changes a lot of the context of the matchup and makes the matchup, makes more things meaningful threats in the matchup. No Scratchy the Wicker. Do I want to downtick on Scavenging Ooze to save this Lightning Helix? Probably don't have to. Yeah, coming up, buddy? Oh, hey, I really don't have to. Sweet. I'm probably supposed to play the Hallowed Fountain as opposed to holding an extra portable hole. Well, maybe I regret that decision. Who can say? Free channel points. Yeah, sometimes Socks redeems Fetch Socks himself. Efficient. So from the opponent's perspective, the Ramunap Ruins and the Llanowar Elves are a viable threat here. But from our perspective, nah, not really. Now imagine if you could get self-fetching sock technology for getting dressed in the morning. There's where the big money's at. Tenacious Pup. Okay. Teferi. I'm about to Day of Judgment a Tenacious Pup. Is that going to happen? No. I can bounce a Tenacious Pup. Who needs to do that? I could also downtick on Portable Hole. No, I can't, because I don't have enough white sources to cast Day of Judgment after bouncing Portable Hole. Oh well. Back to the hand, pup. Anger is cool. Teferi Ultimate is a thing relatively soon. Should have bounced Hole if we were in a top deck Anger. Yeah, good point, good point. I don't think the opponent plays any direct damage to the face that makes me Lightning Helix here, other than more Ramunap Ruins, which aren't an issue unless my life total goes below 3. Questing Beast is a 5? Oh, that's actually, like, wicked super annoying. Alright. Oh, Pony, you just have to make things so complicated, huh? Rude. So much for my Teferi ultimate. Regrettably. You should kill the 4-mana Teferi opponent. Definitely don't need to stop me from having a 7 loyalty Teferi for any reason. No. Opponent's so mean. Alright, well, Archmage's Charm is nice. That got scary there for half a second. I mean, I guess Ramunap Ruins is legitimately scary now. Oh, right, I can do things at instant speed, too. I forgot about that. Huh. Cool. Oh, right. Extra mana. Whoops. I don't think I had a use for it in this turn anyway. Cool. I got nervous there for a second that the being able to flash in sorcery speed stuff wasn't what this uptick did anymore. Quite nervous for a half a second. Am I supposed to anger? No, I can anger next turn because it still has flash next turn too. Alright, well, still no real way around needing to not have my opponent top deck a land that kills me. I mean, I could Archmage's Charm to draw 2. I probably was supposed to Archmage's Charm to draw 2 at sorcery speed. Makes me dead to Questing Beast, but I could hit like Narset into Lightning Helix. Burning Tree Emissary, sure. I think we bounce that with 4 mana Teferi. I think I kind of have to draw 2 here. Yeah, Lightning Helix is helpful. Okay, down tick on Burning Tree Emissary with Big Teferi. Play new Big Teferi, tick up to 7 faster. Down tick Tiny Teferi? Not drawing anything terribly useful. Alright. Still need to dodge Questing Beast. Oh. Ferocidon's annoying. I Lightning Helix that and I don't gain any life. I suppose I can down tick my Big Teferi on it. And then save Lightning Helix for the next creature anyway. Yeah, probably. Still leaves me dead to Questing Beast. Have yet to be able to not have that be the case. Oh, I have to Lightning Helix in response to this? Otherwise they gain hexproof and I have to Lightning Helix a Planeswalker instead? Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Neither of my Planeswalkers have enough loyalty to answer that. Uptick Hero. Uptick Teferi. Play Narset. Downtick Narset. Hit Teferi, I guess? Downtick Teferi on Spellbreaker. Cycle Triome. Should have cycled Triome before down-ticking Teferi. Could have mattered. Didn't, but could have. Like, if we hit an Anger of the Gods, then I don't need to down-tick the Teferi in that spot. Okay, Burning Tree Emissary makes a card. Or makes mana. Down-tick Narset. Hit Memory Deluge. Uptick Teferi. Okay, I think that was pretty early to concede opponent, but admittedly Memory Deluge was looking at 11 cards, so maybe not. Maybe not actually early at all. Okay, well, I think we bring in Anger of the Gods and 4 Aether Gusts. I think we get rid of Time Raveler. I'm inclined to get rid of Narset. How useful is Shark Typhoon? I kind of feel like probably not very. And then Commit's the other card that's probably not good enough. Yeah, probably Commit. Alright, deck. Surely you cuddle the Narsets on the draw with Questing Beast? Well, what's better than Narset? Is Commit better than Narset? I don't know. It's entirely reasonable. Like, I don't want to play Narset on curve, but I do kind of want to play Narset on 5 mana while holding up Aether Gust. Teferi? No, I'm pretty sure Teferi's very good. The point where we turn this game around is the point where we play Teferi and uptick holding up a removal spell. I think I just want as much of that as I can possibly get. I'd rather cut, like, Memory Deluge or Narset before Teferi. I'd probably also rather cut Expressive Iteration before Teferi. Oh, Time Raveler over the second Narset? I don't know that I'm, like, super interested in 4-mana Time Raveler. It feels like it's probably bad the majority of the time. The only time it's good is if it somehow lives and untaps, and you then get to hold up a board wipe at instant speed. Would have kept the Sharks over the Narsets. Maybe. My logic was that I like Narset on turn 5, and I don't think I like Shark at, like, any point. So what's the difference between the Teferi that got banned and the new one? The new one costs 1 more mana and starts with 1 more loyalty, which is to say it's much, 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 much worse. Well, this is a pretty bad hand. So we'll just draw good cards. It'll be fine. Oh, right, the passive also did change. Yeah, it used to prevent stuff from being played at instant speed on any turn. And now it only prevents your opponent from playing stuff at instant speed on your turn. Which means that random effects that have the opponent playing stuff like, what's a good example? Finale of Promise, a card that Phoenix plays, casts 2 cards from the graveyard. Because those... Oh, our opponent mulliganed to 3. Cool. I like this hand better now. I should have led with Sulfur Falls. It's slightly better than Stormcarved Coast. Because that spell casts other spells during its own resolution, those are being cast at instant speed, and so you can't... If they're going to Bone Crusher Giant me next turn, then I think I just Anger the Gods. Although, to be fair, I did forget that I'm on the draw, so I'm going to discard a hand size anyway, which makes this play not particularly correct. I get to get rid of Narset. It's fine. Hey Chris, what's up? Haven't played in over a year, but was always a big fan of yours, especially your iteration of Team or Wreck. What's the situation right now in Standard? Any juicy control decks? So the situation in Standard right now is kind of... It depends on what you consider a control deck, I suppose, is the answer to that. I could Aether Gust the Colossus here and Lightning Helix the Bone Crusher, but I'd rather play Teferi next turn. Right now in Standard, it's kind of in an interesting spot where there are a lot of big range decks. They're not like... They would not be considered control decks in mini metagames, but they are like the top range of what control is right now. But there's nothing running like a bunch of absorbs. What Standard haven't we all switched to Alchemy yet? I mean... I think I'm actually supposed to Helix this Bone Crusher Giant so that I can downtick Teferi on Colossus. Standard and Alchemy feel pretty similar right now. I don't think that there's a huge... Well, I mean, there is kind of a huge difference in power level. No, not like dramatic. They play mostly the same. Stylistically. I'm going to take a Lightning Helix and a Memory Deluge. And then I'm going to Lightning Helix the Voltaic Brawler. Nope, nope. This one. Bun fun to mun. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. And thank you for the very fun name to say. No, I'm missing a land drop. Oh wait, I can Memory Deluge to fix that. Yay, I'm not missing a land drop. Which is the relevant format right now, Alchemy or Standard. Currently, I suppose the relevant format is Historic. I think there might be a Standard Pt.2 this weekend through MTG Melee, but the Mythic Invitational qualifier this weekend... No. What's the name of that thing? Set Championship qualifying weekend? That is, this weekend is Historic. We take the play. This one I probably can't keep, but it looks like we're playing against blue-white control, probably blue-white Lotus Field. Although I haven't seen a Lotus Field build with Kahira before. Alright, well, this I can probably keep. I'm probably shipping the Portable Hole in the interest of just having lands. Mastery Pass expiring warning tells you the exact day. Okay. Does it tell you the day the new set comes out, or just the day that it expires, or is that the same day? Although, for what it's worth, they always say it comes out on Thursday. My experience has been that more realistically it comes out on Friday. Proctor disqualifies Kahira, so probably not Lotus Field. Yeah, that's a good point. ZC's good point. Or at least if they are trying to run Lotus Field, they're not running Proctor. Oh, no, it's actually Elementals. Interesting. Alright, opponent, what you got cooking up? I mean, I'm assuming it's Elementals. What's your opinion on the new set too far? So far. I haven't actually read most of the stuff too aggressively, so I don't know. Take a time, Raveler. But flavor-wise, and art-wise, and story-wise, I'm digging it. Huh, I'm actually just gonna play a 4-mana Teferi, eh? I think I just get my card out of this immediately, because I'm anticipating the opponent's probably playing removal spells. 4-color Kahira. Crisis, okay. Sure. Do I just ignore the Crisis? Probably. Probably just supposed to ignore the Crisis. Could draw Lightning Helix. We don't. Unfortunate. Yeah. Oh, cool. I can cast Expressive Iteration at instant speed. That's probably not good. They can kill Time Raveler. Was that what they were supposed to do? I don't know. You may play the exiled card this turn. Okay. Uptick to Fairy. Could hardcast Shark Typhoon. Probably not a good idea against the opponent's deck. I'm assuming green-black has removal spells for Shark Typhoon. So I'm probably just supposed to cycle Shark Typhoon for a 4/4 to kill the Krasis. My Teferi does die if they have an answer to that. I could try to Expressive Iteration instead. I mean, I still get to make a 3/3 even if the Expressive Iteration totally whiffs on answers to stuff. So, probably fine. Alright, I believe I have not played a land yet this turn, so we're going to put Narset in hand, and exile the Wrath, and play a land. Yay, success. Alright, wipe the board. Untap Z lands. Yay! If I had, like, any instant speed spell to play for Shark Typhoon there, I think I would have hardcast it, but not having a chump blocker and letting my Teferi die, unfortunately, not a terribly acceptable outcome. Kitty cat wants out. Meow. Anyone have any idea what we just played against and what I'm supposed to board into? Looks like a Nissa deck, probably. Could be elementals, 4-color. Could be. I guess Portable Hole is useful against Krasis? It's useful against Nissa too, right? No, it can't hit elementals. Alright, Portable Hole out, Aether Gust's in. They do have blue, so Mystical Dispute's in? Anger of the Gods out, probably. Could board in 2 more Shark Typhoons, I suppose. I'm probably supposed to board in Mystical Disputes. Mystical Dispute tends to be good against Krasis. Is Time Raveler good? I don't know, but it's probably not bad. I don't know, ship it. Do we really want 4 Helix? I'm anticipating Nissa, and I think that it's important to have against Nissa. They boarded out of Kahira. So what does that mean? Shifting Ceratops, is that a card that you can't play with Kahira? Yeah, Ceratops would be a problem. Luckily, Helix and Hardcast Wraths are kind of nice against it. Can't really play Expressive Iteration here. Am I supposed to hold up Mystical Dispute? Probably? I don't know what my opponent's doing, so I think I have to be cautious. Rafa _ Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Alright, so is this the part where we play Ceratops? No? Okay. Alright. Well, I'm just going to keep making land drops and passing then for the time being. Growth Spiral. Yeah. Opponent's a player after my own heart. They can cast Crisis for 4 this turn. I have to Mystical Dispute it because Lightning Helix won't cut it. I get to play Narset after that. Possibly I was supposed to like play Narset that turn, I guess. Kahira does work with dinos? Alright. I wondered if that was one of the creature types that Kahira is okay with. So that doesn't really answer it. Curious, curious, curious. I'm going to take an Archmage's Charm and hold up the Lightning Helix to answer a Nissa land here. So far, we've seen a lot of lands that have the forest type. This looks like Nissa. It's a Nissa. Archmage's Charm can't steal Nissa lands. That's quite disappointing. Land animated. Land goes in Narset. Land is attempted to be bolted. Bolt gets negated. Playing white, but not playing Dovin's Veto. Huh, okay. Narset. Opponent's mana base is quite ambitious, but I can't deny their spirit. Alright, we Narset. We downtick Narset. Guess I get Teferi. I don't think I have good answers to in-play Planeswalkers. Well, I mean, I have Aether Gusts ×4. There is that. I still don't understand why there's no Kahira presented, though. We have not answered that puzzle. Yeah, I mean, that is a Thoughtseize, I guess. Oh. Hardcast Shark Typhoon, sure. It seems worse than cycling it, but I don't know, maybe not. Fabled Passage in the 4-color deck. Okay. Second Shark Typhoon. That's kind of confusing when you know I've got Day of Judgment, but okay. Narset down. Expressive Iteration cast. Aether Gust to hand. Triome to play. Sort of tempted to wait on the Day of Judgment. Aether Gust the Nissa now. No, Aether Gust the Nissa next turn. If I Aether Gust the Nissa next turn after their draw step, I die to a counterspell, but I'm probably dead to a counterspell no matter what. I can't play Teferi and Day of Judgment next turn, which I think means I kind of have to Day of Judgment now, unfortunately. Hey Chris, how's it going? Learning a thing or two from our opponent? Hopefully. I'm not entirely certain what's going on, but I am finally getting to play against Sultai midrange again, so that's admittedly nice. Alright, shock, play Aether. Opponent doesn't have a counterspell. That's an extremely good sign. Uptick to Fairy. But the mana's the important part. Downtick on Nissa. Should have waited until I untapped with Archmage's Charm. Probably doesn't matter because the opponent didn't have a counterspell. Well, they might have Mystical Dispute. Yeah, alright. Mistake. Probably would have lost to a Mystical Dispute anyway, just because it puts 2 3/3s into play, but unnecessary. Opponent didn't put Nissa on top in this spot? What? Why? Huh? Don't you want the 5/5s, opponent? I'm confused. Memory Deluge, Expressive Iteration, Teferi. Punished for playing that land earlier than I was supposed to because I forgot that I wanted a Memory Deluge on my turn because Teferi untaps stuff. Yeah, took 2 damage and missing a land drop as a result. Tiny problems. Minor errors. Still can't Archmage's Charm to answer that swamp. Which is a problem because I'd like to downtick Teferi on the Shark Typhoons, if possible. Still really don't understand why my opponent didn't top a Nissa. Okay. Teferi can't downtick on Swamp. I could place Teferi and downtick on Shark Typhoon, still have up Archmage's Charm and Aether Gust. Lose Teferi. Probably not supposed to do that. Probably supposed to try to Memory Deluge into Lightning Helix for swamps. Gives the opponent 1 more turn to draw answer, or draw things that make tokens with Shark Typhoon. I can steal 1 Shark token with Archmage's Charm. Yeah, take damage, sure. Crisis for 4, huh? Okay. What are we doing? Archmage's Charm can't steal Crisis. Lightning Helix probably wants to answer the land. Aether Gust is decent. I'm probably supposed to take Archmage's Charm and Lightning Helix, and then Archmage's Charm to answer this Crisis. Otherwise a 4/4 is going to be kind of a problem. Then we play Teferi. Downtick on Shark Typhoon. Lightning Helix the Swamp. And our position isn't terrible. I mean, it's kind of bad because the opponent has Narset in play and I can't draw cards. And also they have a Shark Typhoon in play. So realistically, it's still awful, but it's less awful than it was a little bit ago. They can crack the Veiled Passage and lose the Shark Typhoon, which they probably shouldn't want to do. Coma. Okay, well, that would be annoying. Unless... Could steal this... No, they can sack the Serpent in response. I guess I could Aether Gust the Coma after it makes a token on my turn and then steal the token? But I guess that's what they boarded into that makes the Kahira go away. I wonder what I took over that Hall of the Storm Giants earlier. There's a possibility that was what I was supposed to take. Alright, well, that land draw is a good game. Wild. Well, I don't know why I wasn't playing for Aether Gust, but we're going to do that now. I guess I should probably play more Shark Typhoons, apparently, having now discovered what the opponent's actually doing. Time Raveler probably doesn't feel super necessary. Nissa lands... There's no dead Nissa. Nissa doesn't turn the lands into colors, does it? No, does not add colors. Which means Lightning Helix does still have a pretty important point. What am I supposed to cut? I like all the cards in my deck. Veto. Is Veto better than Lightning Helix? Given that they're actually cutting Kahira, maybe it is? We just give up on ever answering a resolved Nissa? And just try to have more answers to Nissa instead? That's risky, but it isn't necessarily a wrong idea. I think that means I have to keep in Aether then, which I'm not super excited about. Alright, and we'll cut one Shark Typhoon, I guess. No, hold on, the opponent actually had like no answers to resolve Shark Typhoons? 3 is still enough. Sharks plus Wrath cover resolve Nissa. Kind of. Not as well as you'd like. Alright, it's keepable. We can play Narset on 3. That's pretty good against Krasis.deck. It occurs to me the opponent's playing a 4-color Growth Spiral deck. Oh! Absolute bravery. Alright, Narset, resolve? Nope. Or yes. Mystical Dispute? Nope. I'll take an Archmage's turn. Alright, we got a game plan. Opponent didn't Growth Spiral me. It's a lovely start. Opponent has a Narset. I probably want to commit that. I mean, I could get Shifting Ceratops to this turn, I suppose. Opponent has a Growth Spiral. Rude. Dovin's Veto's cool. Shark Typhoon's also cool in a matchup where I could potentially hardcast that, but I'm probably supposed to take Aether Gust. Alright, yeah, let's commit this Narset before they untap and get to use it. We are representing Memory if they don't answer us on curve. Different Narset. Yeah, that makes Memory worse by a lot. Thoughtseize. Oh no. Shock, cast Thoughtseize. Luckily I got like a billion answers to that. Or rather, I've got a billion answers to whatever's next, so that doesn't matter as much. I suppose is more accurate to say. Can't Time Raveler. Need to have up an answer to Nissa. Narset in play is annoying. It's going to be hard to pull ahead from here. Alright, Veto gone. We do have Holo Storm Giants in play, though. That's nice. I wonder if I'm supposed to play Jwari Disruption on that turn. Having 5 mana up here doesn't make very much of a difference, but I am probably going to eventually play that Jwari Disruption as a land. It stops them from jamming Nissa here. It makes them wait a turn. Maybe that isn't relevant. Then again, I don't think that having 6 mana next turn makes a difference, so if I play Jwari Disruption next turn, after we've forced them to spend a turn not playing Nissa, it's not too big of a deal. I guess they could be light on lands, too. They've drawn a lot of cards, but... Oh, that's an interesting Overgrown Tomb. I haven't seen that one before. Alright, go to our turn. Opponent's gonna play like a billion growth spirals here, and I'm definitely falling behind. The second Narset was pretty brutal. Yeah, just one growth spiral. They have one land in hand at least. Land is in hand, or land is in play, rather. They don't cast the other growth spiral, which is an interesting decision. Okay. Dovin's Veto, huh? So I could play Time Raveler. I probably get blown out by a Shark if I do that. Shark gets played for 5. Teferi upticks to 6, though. Okay, maybe this works. Most of the time I imagine they just counter the Teferi, right? No, they growth spiral in response. Okay. Eliminate Narset. Okay. Oh, they've got a Krasis stuck in hand they were trying to find an answer to Narset for. Oh, right, Narset was in play, that's why they didn't double growth spiral. Yeah, okay, I follow now. Right. And we uptick to Teferi so that... I don't know. I'm not sure why that matters. Because I actually have a veto to answer Nissa. I guess it matters if they have, like, Thoughtseize Nissa counterspell. But Krasis for 6 is annoying. I'm gonna have to charm that. I can't really remove the Narset from play, short of punching it with Haul. Alright, so I gotta Wrath that after my opponent just drew a ton of cards. Not good. Also, I shouldn't downtick Teferi because Narset's in play. Right, that's also a good reason to do that line that way. Yuck. This is the kind of position where Memory Deluge and Search for Ascanta are really relevant, but I do not have a Search for Ascanta in my deck, and we have found no Memory Deluges or Expressive Iterations. Harsh. Alright, Nissa, but we have a Veto. That's something. 3/6. So if we hit an untap land, Hall can kill Narset. Cool. More Nissas. Alright, well, I can answer that. It just means that I can't answer the Narset. Swamp goes on my face instead of Teferi. That seems wrong. Okay. Well, okay. So we get to bounce the Swamp. We do not draw a card. Play a land. Animate a Hall. Kill the Nissa. I'm still extremely behind, but if the opponent is kind enough to draw poorly for a turn or two. Shark Typhoon, hard cast. Hero of Dominaria. For real, opponent? Goodness gracious. Alright, well, that's still better than them cycling the Shark Typhoon at least. Alright, punch Teferi, kill a 5/5, hope the opponent bricks on 2 draws. This seems like a nightmare matchup? Nah, I think we're probably not terribly unfavored, but we do have to get a start that draws more cards than this. These matchups tend to come down to who draws more cards, and unfortunately, I did not draw very much of the cards that draw cards. Yes, it hurts. A successful... No, they already upticked the Teferi, so they don't get to redraw the Nissa immediately. Alright. Well, we have been out card drawed. Now you show up, Expressive Iteration. Now that it is far too late. No easy way out of this. Kind of need the opponent to make some mistakes for me. Like upticking that hero before playing the Nissa. I don't follow Historic very much. His opponent's archetype still viable, seems kind of slow and outdated. Not really. Playing a bunch of card draw and ramp is pretty good against control, or at least gives you a reasonable game plan against control, but the format is mostly defined by the speed of aggressive decks, and this doesn't really give you access to any of the cards that are good against aggressive decks. You don't have reliable mana to play good sweepers. Oh, right, Time Raveler stopped me from Aether Gusting that. That's why. Alright, well, if they choose not to kill Time Raveler, we have a chance. They don't choose that, so that makes things harder. Yeah, the opponent's deck isn't really getting anything meaningful from black, is it? It's basically just a Bant deck. I guess they're playing Eliminate, which helps kill Narsets, which, fair, that is a card that's difficult for their deck to deal with. Okay. That's the ball game. Saying 4 walkers plus sharks is a hard board to beat. It's tricky. It's tricky. But, yeah. You don't have real access to reliable anti-aggro cards in this kind of a deck, which is what makes it, like, you know, hard to play. It was viable. It was barely scraping by viable when it had Uro, because you had some ability to fight against aggro, and most of why you played white at that point was actually not to play Teferi. In fact, I don't even think most of the 4-color Sultai decks included Teferi at all. It was actually so you could include Honor Guard in the sideboard, because it was a 2-mana 1/3 that helped against aggro, and it made your Uro come down on turn 3 and not sacrifice itself. So you just tried to cheese games against Gruul by playing a 6/6 on turn 3. Also, Honor Guard was extremely good against Goblins at the time, which was the most popular deck. Doesn't it also play that no sack to get a Plains plus Forest? No, so that was Bant control decks that came afterwards that got played into the Jund metagame. And those mostly tried to play Yasharn because Yasharn was very hard for Jund to beat. But then Jund just realized that it got to play Chandra and Noxious Grasp, and the Yasharn decks kind of like were still unfavored anyway. So those stopped being a thing. Well, this is a hand that does nothing for a while, so we're going to keep. Merfolk, huh? Okay. If and you say so. I'm always a sucker for a deck that makes playing Coma somewhat viable. Unfortunately, playing Coma is still not very viable. It is not a terribly good card against control decks that generally play Aether Gust against Nissa anyway. Okay. I guess? Did you actually care about that one-drop opponent? Huh. Huh. Like, I'm uncertain if I care at all about holding up a counterspell compared to just drawing cards. I think I just want to draw cards. Maybe we hit a portable hole. We hit a portable hole. But we can't play it off of Stormcarved Coast, eh? Well, we'll play it on some future turn. I guess the opponent could go like land 3-drop Merfolk God, and that's bad for me. Maybe I was supposed to try to play around that in some way? No, I mean, I can still just down-tick Aether on that, so it's not actually terrible still. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like Shifting Ceratops is generally the better answer to control decks to Coma once you're playing with a historic card pool. It's a lot harder to answer, generally. Merfolk, huh? I guess that means I probably bring in Mystical Dispute and Anger of the Gods. What do we cut? Time Raveler? Narset? Maybe? Shark Typhoon? Hero's probably not very excellent against Merfolk, but I guess they do have to tap out eventually. I'm always so uncertain how useful Aether Gust is supposed to be against Merfolk decks. And what do we just played? Like 4 Shark Typhoons, cut the commits, trimmed Aether, cut the Narsets completely. Played like 2 Aether Gust. Trimmed more Teferi? I don't know. Maybe? Did we submit 60 or was that more than 60? Who could say? Not I. But what I can say is I got like a 4.5-hour-old burger sitting out in the kitchen that I am so excited for. Opponent gets a tropical island, extremely cool. Alright, Raugrin Triome, sure. Hopefully we get a meaningful Anger of the Gods. Master of the Pearl Trident, okay. Am I supposed to shock to hold up Aether Gust here? I believe the answer to that is probably no. Okay. Do we think the opponent has Spell Pierce? I definitely think I got punished for not holding up Aether Gust. Alright. I am willing to play around Spell Pierce. 'Tis portable whole time. Wow, the opponent appears to have a Spell Pierce. Who knew? It's not like they always have Spell Pierce or something. I believe I Aether Gust the Merfolk Mistbinder on attacks here. Merfolk Trickster? Oh, to pump the Shoreline Scout? That's cute. Alright, Aether Gust the Mistbinder. Either we prevent 3 damage, or we get the Spell Pierce out of their hand to make the Anger of the Gods better. We get the Spell Pierce out of their hand. Yay! Alright, opponent, do you have another Spell Pierce? Oof. We tried! We tried! Changes. That game certainly made Hero of Dominaria look less stellar. Aether Gust didn't look good, but functional? Maybe. Ooh, wow, all the text boxes on these cards are doing a little jig. Is that getting picked up on the recording? I don't know if I've never paid attention to that. Look at that. Just having fun. What's on the burger? I got no clue. I'm going to find out. No Aether Gusts. I'm going to be a coward. Keep my 5 drops. Or maybe that's brave. I don't know. Who's to say? What defines bravery versus cowardice? We do not see the jiggly bits you're talking about. Oh, bummer. It was just that the little kerning between some of the text boxes was like pulsing white and black for some reason. Alright, I'll keep this. Lightning Helix into Expressive Iteration isn't the worst thing in the world. Kumena Speaker. Probably supposed to sorcery speed removal on that. Ooh. Oh, I see. I'm getting gaslitted. That's what's going on. No, I don't want my opponent drawing cards. That's good for them and not me, and that makes me sad. Drawing 2 Memory Deluges already kind of hurts. Not the matchup where that's at its best. Probably should have shocked and held up Mystical Dispute to play around the 3-mana god that I think I probably struggle with otherwise. But maybe not. Maybe I need my lands. Or, well, life. But probably correct to shock. Probably correct. That Overgrown Tome was very wild. Yeah, that is the strangest graphical glitch I've seen in a while. This little raccoon fella's like got quite the action pose going on. That's gotta be harsh on the knee after a while. Leaning into it so hard for so long. Do we have a clip of it on that Overgrown Tomb? Somebody might have clipped it. I did not, though. What happened? When the opponent played an Overgrown Tomb, it entered the battlefield with like this giant white letterboxing around the top and bottom of it that just kind of was 3D'ing around as the card moved. Oh, speaking of which, did we just get a... Huh, I could have sworn Fibblethip showed up there for a second. Oh, maybe I'm just going totally crazy. It is rather late at night. Maybe time to restart the client. If we weren't about to probably wrap up after this game. Yeah, probably. What you gonna do, opponent? Gonna play more creatures, maybe, maybe not. This is the last game? Yeah, I guess. Apparently we already won one, so yeah, I guess this will be the last game. The burger is definitely taunting me from the kitchen. I can feel that in my gut. Going in? No? Okay. Well, even you say so. Do I fight over this if they try to counter it? I don't think so. Maybe? Nah. But we did just inform them we have a mystical dispute, which probably not good for me. Oh, my hand is so expensive. Come in a speaker, sure. Ideally, we end up with a land drop here. Worst case scenario, we draw something that isn't a land drop here. I could Archmage's Charm to steal the Kamena Speaker. That actually does stay a 2/2, so it can block the Trickster. Not that that's actually relevant. Well, I guess it makes the Silvergale Adept easier to kill with Shark Typhoons in the future. But I don't think I get to do anything on my turn. Not when the opponent's holding up 2 mana here. Alright, we steal that speaker, and we do dispute the Trickster. I think I just want to keep my opponent off the board. And hope I can buy enough time where they don't have enough resources, so Memory Deluge is meaningful. The Sorcery Speed Collected Company actually makes my Wrath of God stellar. I think I just pulled ahead. Provided the opponent doesn't go land, hold up Spell Pierce. Yeah, none of that matters. Heck yeah! Alright. Opponent played land and is holding up blue source. Hey, they didn't. Sweet. Alright. Alright. I think we can play the Jwari Disruption safely here. I think we won. The opponent kind of flooded out. That makes me very happy. Opponent, I would like your Glasspool Mimic to enter the battlefield with nothing in play. Whee! Good times. Untap land? No, game, why couldn't you give chat the fun of hardcast Shark Typhoon? Alright, well, I'm gonna put Anger of the Gods in my hand. I mean, that's probably not right, but we're gonna do it. If you could feel it in your gut, this wouldn't be an issue. Can't you feel the absence of something in the gut? The hole where a burger should be. No, opponent, I wanted to draw more cards. Come back.